Hi, I'm Nancy Rathbun from Completely Quilted. Thank you for purchasing our Festive Tulips block of the month. You're on month 5, block 5. So we're getting ready to start sewing the pieces together. Alright, take your time and be accurate when sewing this block together. There's lots of pieces, but it'll go together pretty fast. So we're going to start with our warm 2 green small squares. And we're going to piece one of those green number 1 triangles right along that side. So you want to keep those edges even right there. So I'm going to piece those together. So that's going to look like this when you're finished. So you're just going to finger press here at this step, and you're going to take another green 1 triangle, and you're going to piece it to the other side of that darker green piece. So you're going to have 4 of the green units that look like this here. Okay. So you're going to take a triangle from the 1 7/8 inch background piece, like this here, and that's going to get sewn to either side. So you're going to line up that bottom edge, the edge that has that green, so there's going to be a little tail on this top part. So you keep that even, and we'll sew that piece together. So that's going to be pressed. You want to watch the diagram that they're going to be pressed the way the arrows are showing to go. So we're going to take another one of those triangle units that you have cut, and that one's going to get lined up with the other side on the bottom. So lined up with that green triangle on the bottom, and we're going to sew that seam up. So now what you're left with is a small rectangle piece. So you're going to have 4 of these units, and make sure you finger press those and don't stretch them because you have a lot of bias edges. So it should measure 2.5 inches by 1.5. And you can go ahead and trim these little dog ears if you like. So go ahead and make 4 of those units. 2 of these are going to be sewn on either side of the tiny tulips center square. So these are going to be sewn all the way around, starting with either side. Okay, so I'm going to make 4 of these, and then I'll show you the next steps. Done step 3, which I've attached those 2 units on either side of my tiny tulip center square. I still have 2 of these units, and what I need to do is I need to sew another triangle to either side. So the unit is going to look like this. So I'm going to make those even and match those up and sew a triangle to both sides here. Here, and then over here also, keeping that top sides even. Step number 4, with 2 of the triangles attached. Now I'm going to sew this to this unit here, and that's going to give that, that's going to make that into an octagon. So you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sides. So I'll piece those together. So there's my little octagon star, and now I'm going to go to step 6. So that's going to be sewing those larger background triangles here to the green edges. Okay, so you will center that along that green edge, and then we'll stitch that down. So I've got 1 triangle sewn, and I'm going to do the same thing for each green section. We'll have a background triangle sewn against it. So now my octagon is a square again. I have all of my triangles sewn, and now we're going to attach the warm 2 sashing strips. So we're going to sew these to the top and bottom, and then each side. So we've added all of our little purple sashings, and so this is our center block. Now we're getting ready to piece our corner blocks that are going to go onto the center. Okay, so you're going to take your green tube and background squares, and just like in previous steps, we're going to mark from corner to corner and sew these into half square triangle units. So I'm going to sew these half square triangle units, and then I'll show you how the next steps are shown. So we have 12 of our half square triangle units with our background fabric and our green number 2. And so what we're going to do is we're going to sew these into triangle sections like we've done in the past. So we're going to take one of our triangles and we're going to sew along that edge. Like this now. And we're going to take that other triangle and we're going to sew that to the bottom edge there. And this triangle unit will be the same size as our tiny triangles here. There's the finished triangle, and you're going to have 12 of these. They should finish that same size as that tiny tulip, and we'll piece these together in step 11 by making 4 squares that are half a triangle and half of a tiny tulip. So you make 4 that look like this. Now I'm piecing 4 of these tiny tulip sections here. Now I have these square units. So in step 12, what you'll do is you're going to sew another one of these triangle sections on each side here of your tiny tulip. So you're going to have one triangle positioned here, and then you're going to piece another one here on this side. So that's going to make a large triangle unit. So there's one side of my triangle unit sewn together, and now I'm going to sew the second side, opposite of the first.
Okay.
So there's one of my corner triangle units all finished. So these corner triangle units are going to get sewn to all sides of my center square. So I'll do the 2 opposite sides first, and then I'll come back and do my last 2 sides. So you'll want to make sure that when you fold this over, that you're centering that along the edge. And I still haven't pressed anything. It's all just finger pressed and stitched down. So there's my 2 first sides stitched. And then I'm going to stitch the last 2 triangles on either side. So there's my finished small block. I'm going to gently press this, and then I'm going to apply my star points around the outside, and you'll have a finished block 5. Thank you for purchasing our Festive Tulips block of the month. Your block 5 is finished. You're almost halfway there, and each block is just as cute as it can be, better than the one before. I hope you're having fun making your blocks. Stay tuned for the next video when we do block 6.